Oilers, you got a great offense with Connor McDavid. So I have them sweeping them.
Yeah, well, I don't think you heard my point. The San Francisco Giants have 3 more in the 2010s than the Rangers have in their entire history. So, yeah.
It's hard to get back and to get back-to-back wins. And I don't see the Lightning doing it here, so I have them losing to the Hurricanes in 6.
We don't talk about the 2010s because the 2010s had the Astros. And if the Astros didn't happen, the Yankees would have won in 2017 with the Dodgers.
He was close to Frank Reich, and they want Frank Reich back, so that's what they got. It's their discount Frank Reich.
Kaprizov and the rest of this crew, Jordan Greenway, who doesn't get enough props. He definitely is somebody who needs to be mentioned more.
Hi, this is Julie Dobbs. You're listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our MLB Opinions of the Week. I am Kevin. I am joined by the man that won this trade a long time ago, figuratively in our terms for the podcast and also in fan terms, as this is still the season where the Padres traded away Juan Soto after trading for him and making the NLCS once, but then it looked like they were taking a step back and they just lost in a 5-game series, Game 5, to the Dodgers.
Yeah, I really do think they kind of blew it. They didn't score in the last 24 innings. They got good starts from a lot of their starters, but they couldn't figure it out. And it's really what's next.
And that's a question with the Phillies. It's one more final year. I don't know what the vision is for this Padres anymore. We went over this at the beginning of the season. I would say you have great players, Tatis. You still have the money you paid Bogarts. You have Manny Machado. Profar, I don't think is on a long-term contract with the Padres. Could be wrong. But I really don't know where they go. I think I can see him. Actually, I can't see him selling him off, but how do you not buy in with this team?
And they've already done that multiple times before and had to not tank, but they also had to sell a little bit and then fire it back up and then sell a little bit and then fire it back up. That's what's happened a lot. And guys are getting older. Machado will be, he's already 32. Next year will be his age 32 season. But I'm more confident about this group than I am the Phillies long term. The Phillies, it seems like there's a lot more guys that are getting close to the top of that hill or over it, and they've kind of went with the same roster every time. This Padres team, I still think can add to it. I'm so excited to see what new guys I think they're going to bring in some new guys, and they have a lot of youth. I know they don't have the youngest roster in the league, but Tatis is what, 25?
Yeah.
Tatis is 25, yeah. Tatis is 25. They have a good bit of young guys.
They have Arias. They made the trade for Arias.
Yes, he's 27. They have, obviously, what really makes me confident is they have, if not Rookie of the Year, close to it in Jackson Merrill, who played utterly outstanding in center field this year. I think he's going to win Rookie of the Year. 24 homers, 90 RBIs, 292 batting average. They have a good, and it's not, like I said, it's not old. Yes, you have some older guys, like I said, Machado 32, Bogarts 32, and Bogarts has really been the guy that I've been kind of down on. I expected a lot more of him than what he's really been giving, but they have youth. They have guys who will come up soon, because they also traded for Elias Diaz this year, who was an all-star the year before. He only got to play 12 games in the regular season, so his stats were not necessarily the most indicative of how good he's going to be. But I also like their pitching. I mean, they had Dylan Cease, Michael King, Joe Musgrove. I know he's going to miss all of next year because of his UCL tear. Darvish is 38, but he's not pitching like he's 38. They have a good bullpen with Robert Suarez. I think the lights just got too bright and they had a bad series, but I'm not worried about them in the long term like I am with a lot of the other teams in the
Yeah, I would think looking at the Phillies, who didn't do well at run production, there of course was that consecutive innings with the Padres where they didn't hit. To me, I view it differently from the perspective of Phillies had gone deep in the playoffs before. They should have been used to these big moments. Padres have, but this is almost a different team than the Padres that were in the NLCS facing off against the Phillies because I don't believe Tatis was there. You didn't have Jackson Merrill. I believe Jurickson Profar was still there, and I am curious about Profar because he signed a 1-year, $1 million contract with the Padres in 2024. Now he's an unrestricted free agent, and I'm sure he's going to get more money. I am concerned about the pitching. I know you bring up Hugh Darvish's age, but he's not pitching well. I do think there needs to be some insurance, and I'm not really sure who. I know they have Michael King, but who comes up and fills that? They do have Dylan Cease.
Yeah. And Darvish he had a fine season. He had a 3.31 ERA and pitched to like a 1.9 ERA in the postseason. So I still think they have enough guys. Yes, they're gonna have to trade for someone or pick up someone because they can't go with just 4 starters. But they also have some guys I'm excited to see in the future. They have a lot of Yankee guys because of those trades, whether it's Johnny Brito or Randy Vasquez, who started a lot of games for them this past year. But Profar, I do think, is the big question. He had almost a 4 WAR. He was one of their best players all season, and a big reason why they ended up making the playoffs. What do you think happens to him? Do you think I think they pay him?
He feels like San Diego because he was with the Padres before in the NLCS. Then I believe he went to the Rockies. Then he came back. He seems to fit well in with the Padres.
Well, what's really crazy to me is the Padres is one of the worst hitting ballparks in the MLB. So it's harder to hit in San Diego than it is in any other park. It's easier to hit in Colorado than any other park. So yes, he leaves San Diego, goes to Colorado, hits 236 in Colorado, gets traded, and mind you, plays 14 games. But in those 14 games after he got traded to San Diego, hits 295. That doesn't make any sense. How do you go from hitting 236 in the easiest hitter's ballpark and then go 295? And it's your 280 with an 840 OPS, a 134 OPS plus, 3.7 WAR. He was very good as a hitter, obviously. He wasn't too bad as a fielder. He had the best season of his career. And his last 2 full seasons with San Diego are his 2 best WAR seasons of his career, 3.7 and 3.0. He was, I think, let me look at it real quick.
He was also an all-star this year. He was an all-star starter this year.
Yes. And the only position player with more WAR than him this season wasn't Tatis, wasn't Machado, wasn't Hung Sung Kim, it was Jackson Merrill. That was the only position player. So the 2 players who had more WAR than him besides him, so because he was 4th on the team, it went Jackson Merrill, and then Dylan Cease, and then Michael King, and then Profar. And so if you look at it, their outfield is Jackson Merrill in center, right is Tatis, left is Profar, and that's one of the best outfields in the MLB. It's not. I don't think it's better than the Yankees with just Judge plus Soto. I think that kind of. Well, with Verdugo not playing all that well, I mean, I could hear the argument just because of how well all 3 of those guys are playing. To have again, they have no holes in their entire outfield, hitting wise, and all 3 of those guys are not terrible fielders. I mean, Tatis every year is going to be contending for a Gold Glove. So it's pretty remarkable how good of an outfield they've brought together with what's happened. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, especially I was thinking about the outfield because I was like, well, there might be a hole in the right field, but I forgot. Tatis is now a right fielder.
Yes, Tatis is a right fielder, and he's an amazing one at that.
Yeah, it's a pretty stacked option, and they didn't. I guess they did address it by getting Profar, but to me, center field was always a question for them. Now that's solved with Jackson Merrill. They really don't have any. There's no question marks from the position players because you've paid Bogarts.
I think it's Bogarts.
Yeah.
They are going to lose Hang-Sung Kim, maybe. The shortstop who's really good at fielding. They may lose him. I know, is a free agent. But Bogarts is really the question mark for me. Bogarts OPS plus 92.
Yeah, which is
And he had a 688. That's not good. Again, Profar led the team in OPS. Led the team at 839. And that's 200 points. Or not 200. It's 150 points above Bogarts.
Yeah,
And if you look at the outfield OPS, so no one on the team is above 800. Machado's 797. So do with that what you will. But then their outfield is 839, 833, 826.
Yeah, it's tough. To me, it's tough for them to get off Bogarts, but I do agree. There is a question mark. He hasn't done well fielding. I know he moved to second base, but to me, they're kind of stuck with him just given what they gave him in contract-wise.
That's true, but we have seen the ability of the Mets to move off guys.
That is true. And the Padres would make sense of trading Bogarts because they trade away guys and they also trade for guys, such as they traded for Dylan Cease and Luis Arias. So to me, they do something, but I don't see a wrong answer with what's next for the Padres.
Because Arias was their DH, but he's not so bad at fielding that you couldn't put him at second base.
Mm-hmm.
So
who's their first baseman?
Jake Cronenworth. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I would almost put Arias at first and put Cronenworth at second because
you could do that.
Well
yeah, you could do that.
Second.
And even if they lose Hong-Sung Kim, I guess you could move Bogarts to short. But I don't know what. I guess the real question is, what are they going to do at short then? Because do you keep Bogarts or do you try to re-sign Kim? Or what do you do?
It's a good question.
But that's only if you re-sign Profar. Which do you? I don't know if you already said it, I just want you to say it again. Do you think they keep Profar?
Yeah, I can't really see Profar somewhere else. He seems to fit in San Diego.
Even though in my head, because of where he was for so long in my my life when I was watching him play, I think of him as Texas, but I think at this point, it's just the Padres.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it took him a little bit, but he was a former number one prospect. But yeah, it just seems recently and playing wise, he just felt. It seemed in Texas he always missed expectations, but it seemed like San Diego was the place for him.
Yeah, he's really figured it out. But I can see them selling because they've been very, very good at getting prospects up and doing well with them. So I could see them doing anything. Do you think they can make it back to the playoffs next year and be a contender, or no?
I'm going to say no. They're such a weird team to me. I do think they'll be good, but I don't know, given just the state of the NL, if they can make it back and contend for a championship appearance.
I think they could. Mainly because, again, Jacksonville, the last 3 games, the games they lost, he had no hits. But again, it's your 21-year-old rookie. I think their team just progressively gets better. And while I don't think they're necessarily a favorite in my mind, because like you said, they are a very unpredictable squad, I could definitely see it.
Yeah, so that was a difficult question to answer, I think, out of the ones we've done so far. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We appreciate you listening to Outsiders Opinions, and there will be more. And be on the lookout for our next episode. And thank you for listening to Outsiders Opinions.